There is a process happening inside every human body right now that most people have never heard of, and it is one of the more insidious contributors to biological aging. It is called glycation, the non-enzymatic binding of glucose to proteins and DNA, and it produces a class of damaging compounds called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. AGEs accumulate in tissues over time, cross-linking structural proteins like collagen and elastin, impairing cellular function, contributing to atherosclerosis, accelerating kidney disease, and playing a role in the neurological deterioration associated with Alzheimer's disease. If you want to understand one mechanism through which diet influences the rate of biological aging, glycation is a productive place to start. Carnosine is a dipeptide, a 2-amino acid compound composed of beta-alanine and histidine. It is found exclusively in animal muscle tissue, with the highest concentrations in poultry and beef. Its relevance to glycation is direct. Carnosine is a potent anti-glycation agent, meaning it can react with and neutralize reactive carbonyl compounds before they have the opportunity to form AGEs. It also acts as a pH buffer in muscle tissue, which is why it has been studied extensively in athletic performance contexts, but its anti-aging potential is arguably the more significant long-term story. The finding that vegetarians consistently show undetectable or near-zero carnosine concentrations in muscle tissue is striking. The body does synthesize carnosine from its component amino acids, but the rate-limiting step is the availability of beta-alanine, which comes primarily from dietary animal protein. When dietary carnosine is absent, endogenous synthesis alone is insufficient to maintain meaningful tissue stores. Whether this translates into accelerated AG accumulation in lifelong vegetarians is an area that requires more direct investigation than has occurred so far, but the mechanistic logic is coherent. The neuroprotective angle of carnosine research is still early stage but worth tracking. Some animal studies have shown carnosine reducing amyloid beta aggregation, the protein accumulation associated with Alzheimer's pathology. Human trials remain limited in scope and duration, so clinical conclusions should be held lightly. But in the context of an aging society where dementia represents one of the most feared and costly outcomes of growing old, any compound with plausible neuroprotective mechanisms and negligible downside risk deserves serious attention. Beta-alanine supplementation, which raises carnosine stores in muscle by addressing the rate-limiting precursor, is one of the better researched supplements in sports nutrition, with consistent evidence for increasing muscular carnosine content over 4 to 12 weeks at doses of 2 to 5 grams daily. The primary side effect is a tingling sensation called paresthesia that typically occurs shortly after ingestion and is harmless, though uncomfortable enough that many people discontinue use or switch to sustained-release formulations that produce less acute tingling. For vegetarians and older adults with reduced meat intake, beta-alanine supplementation represents a practical way to maintain carnosine stores without consuming animal foods. What makes carnosine interesting from a nutritional standpoint is how well it illustrates that the distinction between eating animal foods and not eating them is not simply about protein quantity or amino acid completeness. It is about specific compounds that have no plant-based equivalents and that appear to matter for biological aging trajectories in ways we are only beginning to map.